Welcome everybody to our third and final build session for this Academy series. To start, for anyone who has not joined any of the other sessions, my name is Alexa. I manage the customer success and service teams across Houzz, Australia, and New Zealand. And I'm joined today by Giri, who is our support tech expert, and he is going to cover all of the build features today. In terms of what we'll be covering, in the last two sessions, we discussed how to set up your account fundamentals and covered what a project workflow would look like on your end on Houzz Pro. For today, Giri is going to walk us through the design tools to help you manage your projects. A lot of these tools are some of our pros' favorite tools. He's going to start in the 3D floor planner and provide some good tips and tricks for you to use. Then we'll go over the power of the client dashboard, why you should be using this with all your clients. And then we'll move on to how to generate reports for your business before we wrap up with some general Q&A. I would note, or will note, should I say, that we'll actually stop throughout the session and ask if anyone has any questions. And if you happen to have any, you'll notice a chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. The public box is where I'll go ahead and write any questions that will go to the whole group. And then if you would like to ask a question, all I request is you put it in the private chat box to the right of that. That will come to me, and then I'll go ahead and ask that to Giri, who can answer it to the wider group. Everyone's got really good questions and want to make sure everyone hears the answers to those. So now that everyone knows what to expect and how to manage the chat, I'm going to pass it over to Giri to take us through the design tools.
Thank you, Alexa. Hello, everyone. As Alexa mentioned, my name is Giri, and I'm the product support specialist for Houzz Australia. And what I do is I help professionals to set up their account when they're starting their Houzz Pro journey. On top of that, I provide ongoing product support to ensure that professionals like yourself know how to utilize the software, receive sufficient training, and get the most out of the subscription. Now, before we get started with the software, I want to give you a brief introduction of what Houzz Pro is all about. Now, Houzz Pro is an end-to-end software solution designed for our professionals to better manage their business, ultimately saving them time and allowing them to focus on expanding their business, as opposed to spending too much time on their admin work. Now, the goal here is to run their business more efficiently and profitably. So whether it's managing your leads, projects, or financials, Houzz Pro have you covered. Now, as Alexa already mentioned, our Houzz Pro Builds Academy is broken down into 3 sessions as there are a lot of features to cover. And in today's sessions, we'll take a deep dive into the design tools and show you how you can leverage the tools to better manage your projects. Now, if you join our yesterday's sessions where we discussed the project workflow and different tools within it to explore, you probably have an understanding of the difference between the Blue House and the Green House. But for those who are tuning in today's session for the very first time, I'll quickly share my screen with you and show you the major difference between these two houses. Now, the one that you're seeing in front of your screen is the Green House, which is your public house profile. In other words, the public directory of your business, where a homeowner visits Greenhouse platform and find your profile containing your branding, projects you've done in the past, any review you have received, or any other data or contents that you've chosen to display on the profile. On the other, you have the Blue House, which you can access, by the way, directly from your Greenhouse by clicking on that blue button over here, which takes you to the Blue House. And as I've mentioned, it is the business management software, which is purely internal to your business, meaning only you and the people you invite, such as your team members, subbies, suppliers, and of course your clients can interact with the software. And also you have full control over the privacy of this operation. And in today's session, we're going to cover features in the Blue House, aka Houzz Pro. Now, before I begin, as Alexa mentioned, if you have any questions at any point, feel free to drop a comment in the chat and we'll be sure to answer that for you. Now we'll begin with our agenda. And the first thing we have is the tips and tricks for 3D floor plan tool. Now, this is one of the most exciting features in Houzz Pro. This feature you can find under the design dropdown alongside mood board. Now, this 3D floor plan features allows you to create and design 3-dimensional floor plans from the scratch. Now, you can create the 3D floor plans in 2 different ways. Now, the first one is from the web version that you see in front of you. So all you have to do is click on 3D floor plans, and then it will take you to the 3D floor plan dashboard. And this is called the web version. However, there is a second way to create this floor plan. which is through via your mobile app, which is your House Pro mobile app. Now, House Pro mobile app allows you to take measurements of your surrounding using our 3D floor plan feature through the camera scans. And any scan that you do will get deposited into this dashboard that you see in front of you. Now, if you want to learn more about how we can create 3D floor plans using our mobile app, there are a few helpful articles in the Help Center, which will guide you through each of the steps on how to execute it. So I'll quickly show you how our Help Center works. So you can find it at the very top. And from the drop down, you can access this page, which is the Help Center. Now, you can either use this search bar at the top to find the feature that you're looking for or articles that you're looking for, or you can flick through different categories over here. Now, for today's session, 3D floor plans, there are heaps of articles that guides you on how you can create the 3D floor plan using the mobile version. Here is one recommended one for you. So you can explore these articles and feel free to go through that. But for today's session, we'll be focusing mostly on the web version of it, which is from this dashboard. Now, without further ado, I'm just going to start creating a 3D floor plan. To do so, all you have to do is click on Add a Floor Plan, or you can also click on the button at the top right corner. Both of them will take you to our floor plan. Now, it'll give you a basic rectangular shaped room. Now, firstly, some housekeepings. You can find these viewing options at the very top. So by default, it gives you a 2-bit dimensional view, which is the floor plan. But you also have the option to go dollhouse, which gives you a 3D view of the floor plan. And there's also a view called walkthrough, which I'll explain in a bit. Now, at the very top left corner, you have all these tools that you can use to navigate and customize your floor plan. The first you have is a zoom in and out, which you can use to, of course, in and out of your floor plan. Also, there's this handy features called zoom to center, which will take you directly to the center of your floor plan. Next you have is the measuring unit. So by default is in meter. And then you have the measurement tools. So the measurement tools is really handy. If you want to measure anything within the floor plan, all you have to do is select this ruler icon and then pick a point, give a left click, and then whenever you want to finish, just do another click, and that gives you the measurement of any objects within the floor plan. You can also drag it any direction as you wish to be. But the major feature of within this floor plan is the draw walls and select tools. And these two we're going to be using heavily to customize our floor plan. Now to do so, first let's get rid of one of the wall. And how we can select something within the floor plan is by the select tool. So all you have to do is click on select, and that will essentially allow you to grab anything within the floor plan. So if I want to select this wall and then get rid of it, all I have to do is click on this bin icon. And as you can see, the wall is gone. Now the next step is I'm going to draw a few walls and expand this floor plan. To do so, I'll select the feature called draw wall from the top left corner. And from there, I pick a point and then do a left click on the mouse and then move any direction as I want to. Now, this is a question we get a lot, that can this software do curve wall? So to answer that question, at this stage, no, but you can always use the linear wall to create any curve wall. So in another word, it's called Bay Area. And that's another question we get a lot. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. All you have to do is select the wall, and then whenever you would like to stop, just do a left click, and that will stop there. Now to create a curve wall or a Bay Area, all you have to do is play some tricks, and there is your Bay Area ready to go. Something to keep in mind, you also have the option to change the angle of any of the corner. All you have to do is select any corners within the floor plan, and then you can move inward or outward. So in that way, if you ever need to make any changes, you don't have to get rid of the wall and do it all over again. All you have to do is grab any of the angles. Not only that, you can grab any of the wall and also expand it both inward or outward. Once you select any walls, it gives you a proper measurement of both inward and outward. Another thing to keep in mind, by the way, guys, is that this 3D floor plan is only for the internal space, not external. So anything that you do within the floor plan, it needs to be an interior part of your floor plan. So now that you have an understanding of the wall, let's talk about some of the customization. So if you ever need to change any of the measurements of the wall, all you have to do is find this dashboard on the right-hand side, and whichever wall you selected, it will give you a specification of that. So right now, the wall that I've selected inward is 1.09 meters. So if I ever have to expand that, you can do it from the floor plan, or you can manually enter the amount. Say if I want to do 1.2 meters, and before I hit enter, something to keep in mind, I've selected to distribute the expansion equally on both ends. So whatever the extra amount that I've added, that will equally distribute it on both sides of it. But you also have the option to pick any of the side, whether left or right, and whatever the extra amount is, that will be applied on that specific direction. But by default, it is in both directions. So once you're ready, hit enter, and the wall is expanded, as you can see. Also from here, you have the option to switch side of the wall by clicking on this button, both inward and outward, and also the thickness, as you can see. Now that you have an understanding of the wall, we'll talk about different structures. So first, let's talk about what structures are available within the floor plans. The structures is something that you can find on the right-hand side of it, of your floor plan, under structure. And we have structures like doors, windows, staircase, wall partitions, firewalls, and even wall opening. So let's add a door onto the floor plan. And you see, once you click on the door, you have the option to change its dimension and also its finishing. Just something to keep in mind, majority of the structure and the product that you have within the 3D floor plans are highly customizable, meaning you can change their dimension alongside their finishing. Now let's place this door on any side of the wall. So as you can see, if I place it on the wall, now the beauty of this software is that it tells you exactly the distance between the door and the both end of the wall, giving you more precision in terms of planning up your floor plan. Also, if you ever need to flip the door, flip the direction of the door or the swinging directions, all you have to do is utilize these options at the bottom of the door that you have, which is called flip, which changes the swing direction, and the other flips changes the directions, opening directions pretty much, both inward and outward. So that's something to know about door. Now let's pick some windows. Now I've created this beautiful bay area here for you. And this is another question, as I mentioned, asked a lot, how to create bay window area. So I'm going to go ahead and create this bay window. So all I have to do is cross this and find the structure called window. And from here, pick any windows that you wish to. Once again, as I mentioned, majority of these structures and products that we have are highly customizable, meaning you can change the dimension as you wish it to be. So I'm going to change the width and say the height. And also you have the option to change the distance from the floor. Now, once that's ready, this window is sitting on one of the bay side. Let's duplicate a couple of these. And duplicate and place it on both ends. Now let's preview what it looks like in 3D. To do that, all you have to do is click on Dollhouse. And as you can see, your bay window area is ready for you. Great. Now, moving on to the next part, which is the walls, right? So now we have all these different walls. This 3D floor plan allows you to paint those walls, and you can select multiple walls at the same time. Now, to paint the walls, here's a tip for you. We recommend our pros to leave it in the dollhouse view. In that way, you have better visualization of what it looks like and which side of the wall you're grabbing. And you can select multiple walls by simply holding the Shift key on your keyboard and selecting those walls. As you can see, I can select multiple walls, do a 360. And to select the paint, all you have to do is from the right-hand side dashboard, click on the select paint color, and there is heaps of color to choose from. And then you can pick your own painting color. And as you can see, this is ready to go 360 degree. Now that you have an understanding of how to paint the wall, let's pick flooring. To do that, let's step out of this view, go to floor plan view, and all I have to do is click on floor inside the floor plan, and it will highlight the floor. And in that way, you have the option to select some of the floorings. For today's session, I'll be picking the wood one. And you can always go back to the dollhouse view to see what it looks like. Fantastic. Now we have a few of the structures and other elements ready to go. I'm going to add a few of the products to show you how you can use our product library. Now, the beauty of the product library we have preloaded in the 3D floor planner is that it is sorted and organized based on the different section and areas of your house. So for example, if I want to focus on the living rooms, all I have to do is scroll down and find the living room furnishing over here, and then it will provide you with all the furniture that are relevant to that space. So let's say if I want to pick a couch, just click on any couch, and then it will drop it inside the floor plan. Now, when you drag it, you'll be seeing that it tells you the measurements of the sofa from all different directions of the wall, which giving you further precisions whenever you're adding product to your floor plan. Also, as I mentioned, highly customizable, each of the product, majority of our product, by the way. So you can change the dimension, also the fabric color from here. Let's add a table. And similarly, you can see that this is ready to go. And you can always go to the dollhouse view to have a look at what it looks like. Now that you have an understanding of how you can add structures and product to your floor plan, I'm going to show you what a built-up floor plan looks like. Now, this is a floor plan that I've created, and this is what it looks like from a dollhouse view. As you can see, it's more detailed, and you have the option to utilize so many of our products and make something amazing out of it. Now, I'll show you what a walkthrough view looks like. So walkthrough view is something that gives you an feeling of what it looks like from the inside of the floor plan. So the real life feeling. It's a really handy feature for your customer to get an understanding of what the project would feel and look from the inside. As you can see, you can move in any direction as you wish it to be. And that's pretty much to know about walkthrough. Now, some of the benefits of the floor plan is that it helps you to get on the same page with your client before the work even begins, saving you time and money through creating a real-life blueprint of the job site. Also, it helps you to easily communicate the answer to your client when they ask all the time, sure, that how it's going to look when the project is finished. So it gives you a real-life feeling, and it creates a better sort of look for the projects. Now, that's pretty much to cover about 3D floor plan. Before I move on to the next section, I would like to pause here and ask if there's any questions.
Thanks, Gary. That's really informative. Yeah, we do actually have quite a few questions that have come in. So, and I might answer a couple of them and allow you to answer some of them. The first one was, does it allow point snapping? The answer to point snapping is it doesn't, but this is why there are red lines to give you a guide and a full control over where the walls go. The next question is, what can you do with the 3D floor plans in terms of exporting and converting it into different formats? Gary, do you want to answer that? I'm sure you're going to get to that in just a quick second.
Yep, sure thing. So to share your floor plan, there are a few different ways. The first is click on share option, the share button at the very top right corner. What it will do is it will create a unique URL link. So you can copy this link and share this via message within HousePro or even externally if you wish to. So whenever they will receive this URL, and if I copy and paste that, they'll be receiving this literal 3D floor plans in front of them. Just because you have a lot of product, that's why it's taking some time to load. But once they receive it, they'll be receiving this blueprint in front of them, and they can explore it by a dollhouse and even walk through that I've mentioned previously. So that's one of the way. The second option is via PDF. So you can essentially download this version, whatever you're seeing in front of you, as a PDF view. So all you have to do is click on action at the top right. And from there, select print. What it does is whatever view you have on the screen, it will simply export that as a PDF, which you can download and then send it to your client. So that's two of the options of sharing it.
Perfect. The next question I have is, what dimensions are allowed in the 3D floor plan?
Dimensions, yeah. So 3 dimensions is so in total 3 dimensions. So width, height, and length.
I meant as in the unit, sorry, the measure unit.
Oh, yes. Measuring units is the meter by default, but you also have the option to do feet.
Perfect. Okay, let's see. And then in relation to angles, what is allowed with the angles?
Yep. So I think I've already showed you. So if you ever want to customize the angle, all you have to do is pick one of the edges of your wall. And then from there, as you can see, you can either expand it outward or inward. So that's kind of the handy way of expanding or customizing your angles.
Perfect.
I hope that answers your question.
It does. I think something else to point out here is that it won't actually give you the degrees, though. You would just be able to move the line.
Yep.
By using the corner. But product request has been put in for this. So
beautiful.
Perfect. That's all the questions I have now. So feel free to move on. But if anyone has any that they didn't get a chance to ask, feel free to send those to me and I can stop Gary to answer those.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lex. So the next part of our agenda is the power of client dashboard. To do that, I'll open one of the project. Let's get rid of these and open a project. Now, one of the questions that we get asked a lot from our professionals is that how much time they spend each week updating their clients on where the projects are. Now, these features I'm going to show you is designed to address that issue. Now, HousePro Client Dashboard cuts out all the extra time our professionals spends on informing their clients on projects. It's also eliminated the elements of unknown from your client's perspective by having all the relevant information in one dashboard. And now the question is, what informations for your clients are there to see in the dashboard? I'll quickly explore that for you. All you have to do to gain access to your client dashboard is go to any of the project, and then from the top right corner, find this button called Preview Client Dashboard. All you have to do is click there, and then it will redirect you to the client dashboard. Now, since you're the owner of the software, you have the option to share this. So if you're opening this for the very first time on a specific project, all you have to do is share this dashboard with your client, and you can do it directly from here by sending them an email directly. Or if you like to copy a link and a unique URL, you also have the option to do so by flicking to link. And then this is the link they need to have bookmarked. Now that you shared this with your client, I'll explain you what informations are available for your clients to see. Now, this is what a built-up client dashboard looks like. So you have all this information, such as any messages you have shared via HousePro to them, or any emails that you've sent is here. Any financial documents that you have sent in the past, or any documents that requires their urgent action will be displayed at the very top. For example, say I've shared these estimates with this specific client and that needs their approval. So they can always find those urgent documents ready for them at the very top, which helps you to further reduce the approval time. Also, if you assign any task, they will be able to see it here. Now, task I've mentioned, if you join our yesterday session, this is a really handy tool which helps you to collaborate with all different stakeholders within your business, including your client. So you can assign a specific task to them as well, and they'll be able to see this on this client dashboard. And if they have any questions regarding this task, they don't have to step out of it and then ask you that. They can directly either message you from here or even go to the specific task and add a note by clicking on this note icon. And then they can ask you whatever confusion they have. In that way, it cuts down the communication time by a significant amount, further reducing the admin hours. Now, after task, you also can share the timeline with your clients. The timeline is another feature we discussed yesterday, which allows you to break down and plan your projects and have a better visualization. So your client have an understanding of what's going on and the key dates they need to know to complete each of the stages of the project. Then you can have the option to share that with your client, and they'll be able to view that in the dashboard. Next is the attachment. So any files you share with them, whether it's PDF or say even a photo or a video of a construction site, for example, you can always share that with them and they'll be able to see it here. And the daily log, which is another very crucial feature. So daily log is basically any daily activity that you do on a specific projects. And you have the option to share that with the different stakeholders, including your client. So what it does is it provides a peace of mind for your clients, and they have an understanding of where their money is getting invested by having a detailed outline of all the works that has been done on that project so far. And daily log is a great way to communicate that to your client. Now, as I mentioned, Client Dashboard provides immense amount of value because it provides an interactive portal to look more professional, and it creates a relationship of transparency with your clients by sharing all progress and details of project in one place. Now, also our Client Dashboard allows clients to self-serve and view key details of the project at any given time and giving them further peace of mind via timeline that I've just mentioned. And lastly, it creates a better client experience where your clients are informed, trusted, and valued. And that's pretty much to cover from Client Dashboard. Are there any questions?
No questions about the Client Dashboard, but highly recommend to use this with your clients. As Gary said, it creates a great user experience, cuts off a lot of the back and forth that you would be doing admin-wise, getting in touch with them about where the projects are at. So definitely recommend using this if you aren't already. Thanks, Gary.
Great. So if you don't have any questions, I'll move on to the next part of our agenda, which is running reports. So I'll exit out of this and go to the homepage. Now, reports in House Pro, something you should know is that it tracks your financial information synced from your projects. Now, you can imagine having to manually calculate where you are at financially in your projects would be such a big job. Like these reports that I'm about to show you remove all the human errors and makes it so easy to have all the project's financials ready to go based on what you and your bookkeeper need to see. Now, this tool is great, first of all, because it pretty much gives you a summary of all the projects, leads, and any other data in one place. And this feature is something that you can find under Manage dropdown from the financial reports. Now, once you're in there, you'll be able to see a few different types of reports. Now, I'm going to first go through the payments report with you. So to do that, all you have to do is click on View Reports. So payments reports is basically money, tracks all the money coming in and out of your business. So once the thing that you're seeing in front of you, it has pretty much, it gives you an overview of all the money that you've received and also all the money that has gone out when you switch to an expense tab. I'll first explore the income side of it. So when you open it, you will be seeing a whole overview of all the amount that you've received so far. And also you'll be seeing how much of that total amount is invoiced. And the balance of this too is your total liability. Now your total liability is the total sum of payments that you have yet to be invoiced or returned to the clients. Now this gives you a better understanding of where you stand from a financial point of view. Now at the bottom of that, you have different columns to explore. You have columns like dates, project, clients, and documents, and so on. So these columns are also can be sorted and organized simply in different orders. All you have to do is click on the bar next to that column and it does the sorting in different orders for you. Now that you have an understanding of the columns, you can use some of our filter feature at the very top, which helps you to filter down and narrow down your searches. Now, something to keep in mind, like if you're one of the professionals that are using our online payment feature, that this question we get asked a lot is that, like, where can I see the payment that has been made by a credit card? Because there's a lot of confusion around that because of the 1.4% transaction fee, and the amount varies from what you have invoiced or like sent it out in different documents. So if you're ever confused, this is the report for you. And all you have to do is open this report and from the payment type, select online. And once you select it, it will show you all the payments that you receive via credit card. And not only that, it will also tell you all the other data points that is linked to that transaction. Data points like what document number was it, what amount was it paid, and so on. Also, all these payments that you see are the payments that you log either manually or, as I mentioned, you receive via online payments. Same with the expenses, but the difference is that all the money going out of your business. So pretty much any purchase order that you pay or any purchase order you log payments will be shown in this list. That's pretty much to know about the payment report. But before I move on to the next one, I'd like to mention that the Export Excel feature is currently unavailable from the payment report as we are running a few changes with formatting in the backend, but it is expected to get released in the Q1 of next year. But in the meantime, if you really need to print something or print a PDF version of that, here's a little useful trick for you. You can always use Command P on your keyboard if you're a Mac user, or you can use Control P if you're a Windows user. In that way, what it does is essentially captures any of the web pages that you are on, and it allows you to download or export that side of it as a PDF, as you can see in front of you. And you can export that for the time being until that Excel feature is missing. But moving on to the next part is the outgoing transaction report. See if I step out of it. Now you have this transaction report, as you can see, by both incoming and outgoing. Now, something about this report is it's a bit more detailed than the payments one. So what I mean by that is in the dashboard, you see a bit more classification of each of the monies coming in. For example, you see the total positioning of yourself. You see the balance, which is your net balance of your current situation. It also tells you how many upcoming payments you have so that you can prepare yourself and better manage your cash flow. It also shows you how much of the amount has been proposed as an estimate or how much of the amount proposed to your client has been approved. So it gives you an overview of where you stand when it comes to money coming into your business. Something to know about the column setting is this report is a bit more customizable than the payments report in terms of the column settings. What it does is it allows you to select or deselect any of the columns that you like to be shown in the statements by simply going to column settings over here. And then you have the option to switch on and off any of the columns that you don't require from this statement by simply toggling them to the left. And if you want to switch it on back. Also, you have the option to change the order of each column by simply dragging them up and down. So as you can see, it's a bit more customizable than the payments report. And same with the other filters as well. For example, I'm sure you get this question asked a lot from your clients, both active and previous one, is that, can I have my payment summary of the project? So if you ever get that sort of question asked, this is the place to come. All you have to do is use this filtering option from the active client, select, or even archive client, select your clients. And from there, say, for example, if I select Joey Trivioni, for example, and then click on apply change, it will show me all the payments that have come through from this project in both estimates and invoice. But if you want to customize it to just invoices, all you have to do is click on type and then select invoices. And then click on apply changes one more time. That will give you all the invoices amount that has been paid for this specific project. So that's something to keep in mind. And you can always export that as an Excel, unlike the payment report, by simply clicking on Export Excel in the top right corner. And what it does it's download the Excels in the local device for you. Now, moving on to the next, the outgoing transaction report is identical to the incoming, but it calculates all the outgoing payments from your business. So now I'm not going to bore you with that, but I'm going to move on to the next one, which is the time billing reports. So time billing reports is kind of like one of my favorite feature, is because of it gives you an idea of how many hours I have worked for a specific project or all the projects, and the amount is billable, and also tells me how much of those billable amount has been invoiced. Why this is one of the important report is that it gives you an understanding of what action you need to take financially to get the cash flow up and going. So say, for example, you get all these hours billed to them via, say, for example, either it can be your consultancy rate or your travel expenses and so on. So you track them. I'm sure you have an understanding of how you can use the stopwatch, but there are heaps of helpful articles in the Help Center to guide you to that. But if you're using the time and expense billing, So all you have to do is track those hours, and then it will sit in the time and expense side of it, which you can find under manage. So I'm going to quickly show you for you to have a better understanding. So it'll be sitting down here, but some of them could be billable, as you see. Some of the hours that you note here, some of them could be non-billables, but the ones that are billables will be sitting down here. But often we may forget to not charge it back to the client by not converting that into an invoice. So if you go back to this report, this gives you a clear understanding of where you stand with these billable hours and what action you need to be taken. So for example, I have $600, for example, sitting in that list that hasn't been invoiced. So that's the money sitting down there ideally. And it could be a hell lot of higher than that. So what I have to do is go back to that list and then convert those billables into invoices. So as you can see how much value it can provide from a financial point of view to your business, this report. And moving on, the next one is exactly the same, but that time billing by project, but it does the time billing for you based on different projects as opposed to the team members. Some of the benefits of using our reports is that it gives you the power to be more profitable and leverage technology in a way that makes sense for your business. And your business decisions are supported by the details and the numbers of what you spend. And this report can be generated with just a few simple clicks. And that's pretty much to bring us to the conclusion and to the section. And then I'll probably will hand this over to Alexa for further Q&A. Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. That was very informative. I do actually have a couple questions here while I move into some general Q&A. Mm-hmm. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. Okay. So the first question I have, actually, before I go into that question, I think before I move into that, I want to talk about the reporting. As Gary said, the reporting tool is super useful, but I want to keep in mind that the reporting tool itself is an internal tool for you, and it's going to allow you to keep track of your income and expenses. If your client wants a breakdown of their financials of the project, the client dashboard would be the best place to show them what they have paid and what is remaining. So I would always point to the client dashboard in relation to your clients. Moving back outside of the payments and financial documents, someone asked a question about, are you able to import external documents such as like 3D walkthroughs, videos, and Photoshop plans to share with clients? The answer to this is no at the moment. However, it is something that we're working on. A workaround is adding an attachment in your messages with clients, and you could just create a hyperlink, which would go to your desired spot. And then the next question to that was, are there any size limitations to attachments? To be honest, I haven't heard of any, haven't had any issues with any large documents yet, but definitely we'll double check this one and get back to you if we find that there is one in particular that we weren't aware of. Other than that, those are the only questions that have come through in relation to the session. I'll just give us another 10 seconds to see if anything else comes through. But thank you so much, Gary. That was very useful. And I hope you all found that very useful as well. No? Perfect. Okay. So just before we wrap up, I wanted to mention a few items that will be of interest to you. The first one, I'm actually going to start with a poll. I've done this on all of ours. Let me just go ahead and start this. What will happen is you're going to see a little pop-up on the left-hand side of your screen. And basically what we're looking for are local professionals who would be interested in being potential commentators for editorial stories. So great exposure for you at no cost. So if you feel like this would be of interest to you, all you need to do is tick yes in the poll. We'll keep track of that, keep this list, and get back to you after the session. The second is letting you know of our latest Pro to Pro referral program. So if you happen to know anyone who you think would like to join House Pro and benefit from these features, what you can do is send them a unique referral code for them to sign up. And then once they join, you'll receive a $500 credit that you can apply to your House Pro subscription. And then your friend will get a free month on any plan that they choose. The links are separate for Australia and New Zealand. So post the session, they'll be emailed to you. So be on the lookout for those and send them out to anyone who you feel like would be a fit. And then lastly, there's a survey at the end that will pop up after I end the webinar. We'd love feedback. This is the last session of all of the webinars that we've completed. So if you wouldn't mind putting in any feedback in relation to the sessions, anything you feel like we did well, areas where we could have improved, or any content that you feel like didn't get answered, that this would be the place to put that. We'd really appreciate that. Other than that, that concludes today's session. We thank you so much for attending one, if not all of the sessions this week in the Build Academy, and we hope you found this useful and look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thanks, everybody.